Mayuresh Joshi is with us as well. And Mayuresh, I have picked up two stocks. You can give me an opinion on either one of them. One of them is Texmaco Rail. Again, earnings out. Optically, they look very good, but the operational performance left a bit to be desired. The other one, which was probably good on all parameters, is Jamna Auto. Good sales, extremely good margin performance, and therefore the PAT trebled from where it was. Do you track either of these two names?
Morning, Neeraj. I think clearly, optically the performance of Texmaco was way below way above what the street was expecting. But clearly, one really needs to understand, if you look at greater detail in the numbers, it is still going to take a lot of time for a lot of these railway companies. Everybody's expecting the rail budget to be a turnaround for a lot of these companies. But clearly, I think in terms of improvement in margins, in terms of execution, in terms of order flows and cash flows subsequently is going to take time. So I think it's a long drawn out story, whether it's Texmaco or Titagarh in that scenario, the next 3 to 5 years to say the least. So investors having a lesser time horizon probably will get disappointed on all these counts, at least over the next 2 to 3 quarters. Jamna Auto, I think numbers way above estimates, but probably I think if you look at the stock moment in terms of how the pricing has happened, largely I think factoring in the kind of numbers that were probably coming through. So yes, I think a positive uptick expected on the stock in terms of moment. But again, I think we like the other auto ancillary companies at this point of time, considering the valuations.
Okay, let's take a very quick detour, and I promise not less than 2 minutes. So to go to Manisha to find out what India rating view is on the bond market, currency market, and the rupee market.
Nikhil, thank you so much for that. As far as the global Q goes, well, the US dollar is off at 6-month highs, but hasn't gained so much. It's quite near to its 6-month highs. What really market would watch out for is the US 10-year Treasury yields, which have moderated to 1.85% for 2.30% that you saw some previous week back. The Indian currency would, of course, continue to take cues from the emerging market currencies and the US dollar as the market goes ahead. In the domestic market as well, there's loads of data coming in this week. Today, you have the GDP numbers, and India rating expects it to be higher by 7.6%. The CPI numbers actually might slide from December's number of 5.61%. As far as the IIP numbers are concerned, markets are awaiting or watching out for some decline continuing on that space. The bond markets yields have continued to be on the higher side. The OMO purchases today, and apart from that, the state development loan auctions that start on Tuesday are a couple of factors which the bond markets would watch out for. Having said that, a near-term range for the yields is between 7.65 to 7.75% continuing there.
Thanks a lot for that. Sandeep, if I look at the recent trend or last week's trend, the last week's trend was that wherever numbers have been strong, those companies are getting rewarded disproportionately. Bajaj Finance, Eicher Motors, Lupin, Torrent Pharma, these are expensive stocks. These are old, bull market favorites, but yet they are getting rewarded. So what does that tell you about the market behavior?
See, that's what we were discussing end of last week, that the market psychology is changing somewhat, whereas the good results are being rewarded positively. The bad results don't lead to that kind of fall. And that's something which we saw in a smaller bank like Vijaya Bank also, although I don't have any investments in that. But the stock shot up when the numbers were not as bad as what people were expecting. So I think the entire story is now whether the numbers are as bad or better. And that's what, because the expectations are so low. So that also gives a clear indication that markets are forming a bottom. The bottoming process is there, and this is the time for people to build portfolios.
You know, the other number that actually did rather well, it came out in the dying moments, or rather at about 4:30, 4:45 p.m. on Friday, was Tata Power. The revenues slightly below estimates. And if you look at it, the reported profit number was way below estimates because there was an exceptional of 601 crores. Adjust for that, the EBITDA performance at 26.8% versus an estimate of 20.5% actually meant that they did very well on the operational front. So, along with the smaller name Texmaco, which had a mixed EBITDA number, but a good top line, bottom line, Tata Power is the other one. Very poor top line, but I think the EBITDA performance was very, very heartening. Would you be happy with the performance, Sandeep Sabharwal, Tata Power?
Yeah, Tata Power performance was very good, and I think it will only improve going forward as the raw material prices remain suppressed. And today there was some news of, I think GMR has got some compensatory tariff. So I think Tata Power also has been fighting for some compensatory tariff. So people might play that on Tata Power also. In terms of stock price movement, it could have a positive spin.
Well, come February 26th, then you'll have new entrants then to futures and options, and Indocount, PC Jewelers, Tata Elxsi, which could be an interesting one, United Spirits, KPIT would be the other ones which have been added, and Granules as well. The interesting one, of course, Sandeep, is Tata Elxsi, a much favourite of the lot, but do you think there is significant headroom in the way the stock is also going to move now that it will be added in F&O?
So I think that's been the way the F&O entrance thing has moved out over the last couple of years at least, where stocks tend to top out rather than there being a significant up move post entry into the F&O universe. And the entire mechanism of how stocks are identified also leaves a lot to be desired. At least 3 of these stocks, I am very intrigued how they find a place in the F&O universe at all. So I think people should take it with a pinch of salt. Retail investors should not jump in and buy these stocks just because they are coming into F&O, because the historical evidence doesn't suggest significant value addition post entry.
CK Narayan, a quick 30-second view on these new F&O contracts. Anything that you would want to trade, not necessarily because they are coming into F&O, but even otherwise?
Well, the only ones that are, sending out some signals to trade, one would be Cummins India, which has kind of reached decent levels of support and has a decent following and some sort of pedigree. I would definitely not go and get into a PC Jeweler or KPIT because they're all pretty range bound. And I would echo Sandeep's words that, selection criteria definitely are questionable. Tata Elxsi has had a great move already. I think if this is not a time to get into it. Granules, I would think at about 100, 105 has come down into support, can rally up to about 130, 140. ICIL is on a great trend. About 1250, the rise should probably continue. So that's the only one which might find, continued upward traction within the whole list of about 7 stocks.
Great. Thanks for that analysis. 30 seconds to pre-open. Do watch out for the steel names. Obviously, JSPL and JSW Steel are the preferred bets from whatever little we've heard. So watch out if there is a trade there. And then do watch out for earnings. Tata Power, Jet Airways, Jamna Auto, Dwarikesh Sugar, AstraZeneca Pharma. These are 4 or 5 names I've just rattled off which have come out with a better than expected performance. And maybe, just maybe, even on a down day for the indices, there could be a bit of a reaction there, a bit of a rally. Claris, I fear, will have a bit of a battering because the market too will probably not do well. The SGX was indicating a downtick. For now, we don't have that. Should be coming. Bring out the steel names, JSW Steel and JSPL, as also Tata Steel and SAIL, of course, for that matter. And let's see what these are up to. Actually, the nifty top traded names just as a Tata Steel, and naturally so. The others are not really the index names, but Tata Steel about 1% and a half higher. Jindal Steel 10%. JSW and SAIL are the other 2 names that should come out, and let's see if there is a further rally there. JSW, no, not so quiet in the first 1 minute. SAIL, slightly quiet. But I think these will change. In all probability, even if the index is off, the metal names could have a bit of a field day. So let's see if that happens. I'm also interested in seeing what a Jet Airways, what a Tata Power is up to, because fairly decent numbers by both of these, much better than estimates on the EBITDA front. Jet, no, I don't think it'll be a 10% uptick, but there could be an upside, yes. And Tata Power, well, maybe the reported number is something that is sticking out for traders right now, but I think the EBITDA performance was heartening and probably should do well today.
The weak thing today is the currency, because just when you thought it sort of stabilized last week, the weakness is back, so down by about almost 21 paise there. And yes, a lot of individual stocks which are reacting to all the news and all the earnings on them. But before anything else, let's go across to Nikunj and find out what his notes look like this Monday morning. Nikunj?
Right. Aisha, what we must recognize, the way markets are moving right now, markets are hungry for good news. And wherever there is good news, good numbers, good management commentary, good margin expansion, those stocks are getting rewarded disproportionately. I'm not saying anything new right now, but the point I want to establish here is not only these stocks which are coming out with good numbers, they're getting disproportionately rewarded. For the minute, markets are not really bothered about valuations or P multiples. Let's look at some examples here. Lupin is clearly one of the most expensive large cap pharma stock. Numbers were strong on Friday. We saw a 10% reaction. Eicher Motor is trading at a P multiple of 50. 50p multiple versus Hero MotoCorp, which is India's biggest motorcycle company. It's got a P multiple of 14 or 15 times. So iShares has come out with good numbers. Immediate reaction on Friday, 8% uptick. Roll it around, Bajaj Finance on Wednesday touched a new all-time high. Banking stocks are down 50%, but doesn't matter. If a stock is trading at a price to book of 4.7 times, it got rewarded again disproportionately. And then Torrent Pharma, P multiple of 28, decent numbers, reward immediate, which is about 4% up. So the limited point I'm trying to make here is that market outperformance is getting narrower and narrower. And wherever there is some risk reward, even though valuations are slightly stretched right now, investors and traders are giving some of these haloed companies a benefit of doubt. So that was a trend for early part of 2014 and early part of 2015. I think that will be the trend this year as well. If quality is growing, markets will value them disproportionately, regardless of the underlying P multiple or price to book.
Well, thanks for that. So those are some key things to watch out for as well. Do watch out for some of those points. And as we've been saying, do watch out for the metal names. And I think Avan joins in to give us yet another view. I think we'll stick with the metal story because that's the most important story today. And both JP Morgan and CLSA have come out with their views. Avan, what are they highlighting? What are the stocks that people should watch out for?
Well, Mubina broke down the news for you. I'm just going to tell you what the brokerages are saying. Now, CLSA has upgraded the FY17 EPS for Tata as well as JSW Steel, but they still maintain a sell. Now, they believe the steel imports will drop meaningfully in FY17 and Indian steel mills will be able to sell more steel. And this will certainly improve the overall financial situation of the industry. However, a lot of the frontline steel makers like Tata Steel or JSW Steel, they are anyway selling the steel that they can produce and are unlikely to see any significant volume benefit post MIP. They believe that MIP will result in close to a $60 per ton increase or 4,000 rupees per ton increase in Indian HRC steel prices in FY17, and they could rise, but that's unlikely to reach the new landed import price. Now, for Tata Steel specifically, they see the FY17 loss estimate shrinking very sharply. They believe that the FY17 consolidated EBITDA will rise 27%. The loss on a consolidated basis could drop by 90%, but JSW Steel CLSA believes will benefit more than Tata Steel due to its higher exposure to the Indian market, and they believe the FY17 consolidated EBITDA for JSW Steel can increase by 32%. Now, JP Morgan on steel MIP, they believe it's a very big positive for Tata Steel as well as SAIL and JSW Steel. They believe that domestic prices will increase eventually by 5 to 10%, and the street estimates have not already built in higher prices. They overweight on Tata Steel, JSW Steel, and believe that SAIL can also react positively as it will move from losses now to profits.
Okay. Thanks a lot for that, Avan. And the metal stocks are clearly celebrating. SAIL, Tata Steel, JSW, all of them are well and truly in the green. Although it is only 5 minutes, but that one stock which is really doing well is Jet Airways. I don't know if it will open up 10% as well or no, but just bring up that stock price of Jet Airways for our viewers, and it's clearly doing extremely well. 626 and counting. Sandeep Sabharwal, of course, believed it's a good stock to add on to. Mayuresh, if you track aviation, would it be Jet, SpiceJet or Interglobe for you?
No, clearly, Neeraj, I think a stupendous set of numbers that Jet Airways has posted, and clearly I think I would concur with Sandeep's view that the aviation industry is in for better times ahead. Clearly, I think if you look at how the ATF price fall has benefited margins, I think a lot of these companies have actually seen that benefit come through. Having said that, probably I think it's a story of how the crude price movement probably happens over the next 2 years, and if one really expects crude to stay in the range, I think these companies would benefit with advantages coming through. Clearly, I think within these three stocks, the advantages that Interglobe has in terms of profitability, in terms of the operating fleet, in terms of their coverage ratios is much larger compared to a Jet, which has an over-leveraged balance sheet, or even to a certain extent SpiceJet, which also has a regulatory dues to be fulfilled. So clearly, I think there were disclosure issues that the Interglobe management had, but there has been a meaningful correction into the stock. So my opinion is that if it corrects further, I think Interglobe will still remain one of my preferred picks probably within the aviation pack. I think a large factor in terms of how the numbers have panned out for Q2, Q3, the non-disclosure from the management part is there in the price. I think the disappointment is largely played out. So clearly I think any positive numbers and the A320neo deliveries again I think has been factored in. So I think over the next 2 years if someone takes a view of aviation stocks, my bet probably would stay with Interglobe Aviation.
Okay. Thanks for that, Mayuresh. Thanks for that view as well. 7 minutes into pre-open, Jet is not up 10%, it's up 8%, but still could do well. A very liquid stock. PNG came out with numbers, could do well. And I'm also interested in seeing what a Westlife, again an illiquid stock, but exceptional numbers by Westlife for the highest EBITDA margin in the last 10 quarters, if I'm not wrong. Has not traded till now, but could be interesting. So some of these smaller names could well be the standout performers in the broader markets today. But let's talk about all of that and more with our dealing room. And Ajay is there with LKP and trying to figure out what is their top trade recommendations for this morning. Ajay.
Good morning, Neeraj. Right here at LKP Securities dealing rooms today. It's a bustling and hustling and bustling dealing room that preparing about all the stock calls. And mind you, let me tell you that they believe that it's a bias for long trades. So it's not the right time to short. So it's going to be an interesting day for them. And I have with me Kunal joining us. Kunal, tell us what is the trade setup looking like? What are the stock calls you're recommending?
Yeah, I think the first, in terms of setup, I think the 7400 base is now going to be a very good base for the markets. I think if you looked at it over the last 3 or 4 trading sessions, there have been 2 attempts where we managed to break that base, but the OI position did not shift. So I think the market is telling something that at least from the February part, series part, we would have a good base at 7400 levels. And what we are advising our clients is to try and initiate long positions and look at very stock specific counters, at least from the mid cap and the large cap space.
Mm-hmm. Kunal, Friday was a day of a big gain, especially in last hour of trade. Several stocks were up 8-10%. Don't you think a big move is already in the price? And if you're talking about specific stock, give us some specific calls for the day.
Yeah, I think in terms of momentum, when we had a first half of Jan and probably first half of Feb as well, a bit on the pessimist side, and you've seen flashes of recovery in these stocks as well as the index. But I think this momentum is going to sustain also for the next couple of days. In terms of stock specific action, we are looking at first is a buy on Havells, and the stock is looking extremely good, at least in terms of swing charts. We believe at least a 330 could be a possible target on Havells over the next 4 or 5 trading sessions. And the second one from the mid cap space is Tata Chemicals. I think that also stock looks extremely attractive. 380, 385 is a target from a short-term perspective.
Right, Mayuresh, I want to revisit your fundamental idea, and which is Amara Raja. What makes you bullish on this one, and what is your 12-month price target for Amara Raja?
Morning, Nikunj. I think clearly if you look at the way the performance of the tubular battery segment has been for Amara Raja, I think it has been exceptionally good. Clearly, I think the OEM or the automotive segment contributes 55% of its overall top line. The industrial segment 45%. Within the industrial segment, telecom forms around 40%. And the kind of strategic investments that a lot of these telecom players need to do to shore up both the services related to call drops as well as shoring up their data services. Clearly, I think Amara Raja is going to be a key beneficiary. Having said that, probably even on the automotive part, the expansion that they've probably done in terms of their capacity over the past few years has increased it in volume growth of around 16 to 17%. What this has done to the top line has been quite reasonable over the past few quarters. Even in this quarter, performance has been reasonable for Amara Raja. I think because of the fall in lead prices, the margin expansion has been quite evident, and we expect the margins to remain between the 18 and the 19% kind of a range. Having said that, probably I think you're looking at an earnings growth in excess of 24-25% over the next 2 years. So clearly I think recovery probably both in the automotive segment and the industrial segment would justify the valuation premiums that Amara Raja has. So clearly I think at 23 times it's not cheap, but clearly I think the kind of performance that it is coming out quarter after quarter and the market share gains that it is doing compared to an Exide holds our opinion that Amara will continue doing well. So price target of 1039 Nikunj for the next 12 months on Amara Raja batteries.
Mayuresh, so good chatting with you. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us today. Let's just revisit what the Singapore Nifty is up to, although it may not be the right indicator today considering most of Asia is shut for the Chinese New Year. So just maybe the Singapore Nifty is not the right indicator to go by really. But suffice to say, it is definitely going to be a weak start that we're gearing up for. But yes, significant positive for steel companies, maybe a gap up start for the likes of a JSW, GSPL, Tata Steel. Look out for all these stocks. And yeah, DLF as well, because now some more media reports are indicating that Blackstone in